Welcome to Blake Edgington Airborne, and as you've probably guessed in the title and the fact that I'm sitting at home, there's no flight review this week. My apologies for that, but I do have a good reason. If you follow me on social media, you'll probably know that I've been flying for the past few days. I've been in the Middle East filming upcoming flight reviews for this channel. I only arrived back in the UK about 24 hours ago, and I simply haven't yet had the time to go through all of the footage and start creating flight reviews for you. There are hundreds of files, and I want to make sure, of course, I put the best content out that I possibly can. So sadly there'll be no flight review this week, but I did want to get in touch with my subscribers, and that is a very important word to me today, because as of 12 o'clock today on Friday the 7th of February 2020, I'm at 4,990 subscribers, which means if my maths are correct, I only need 10 more subscribers to hit that fantastic figure of 5,000. So I wanted to say a very big thank you to everybody who follows and supports this channel. And by way of giving thanks, I'd like to release a Q&A video for you all. Of course, that means I need some questions, and that's where you come in. In the comment section below, please do send me some questions, or alternatively, you can contact me via Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Send me your questions there. Make them as interesting as you can, and if you're lucky, I'll put one of them in an upcoming Q&A video, and I will get some support to choose the best ones. If I don't feature your question in the video, I will try my very best to answer it when I can. So that's one thing I need your help with. But of course, you are here mainly for flight reviews. And as I said, I've been filming for the past few days, and I have some very, very exciting reviews coming up on this channel starting next week with my KLM flight to Amsterdam. However, this trip that I've been planning for a very, very long time wasn't the easiest trip that I've ever had. I ran into quite a few challenges and little issues along the way. So before I tell you exactly what's coming up on the channel, I'd like to share with you what the original plan was and then what made it change. The Middle East trip was booked a few months ago, just after I returned from my USA tour, and having had so much fun flying in the States, I was eager to get some more airlines under my belt. Having had some wonderful experiences when flying with Emirates, I had the idea to try out some of their competition in the region and got planning. After spending a couple of weeks working out a schedule, here's what I booked and was very much looking forward to. To start things off, it was back on board one of my favourite European airlines, KLM. The first flight of my trip was a quick journey from Birmingham to Amsterdam on the 737. This was to set up my first ever long-haul flight with the airline on their Boeing 787-10 to Dubai. Frankly, this was the flight that I was most looking forward to on the schedule, as I love the 787, it's even part of my channel logo. Then came the tricky part of planning some flying whilst in the Middle East after my arrival in Dubai, and the next flight was one on my bucket list. To start day 2 of the trip, I booked a flight with Cathay Pacific on a very short route from Dubai to Bahrain on the Airbus A330. Cathay Pacific are an airline that I've admired since I first saw one of their 747s at Heathrow many years ago, and to be able to fly with a Hong Kong carrier was a must. So which airline to choose when I arrived in the Kingdom of Bahrain? Well, this one was kind of a no-brainer, and I booked a journey with national carrier Gulf Air, flying the Airbus A320 to yet another new country for me, Kuwait. From Kuwait, I planned to head back to Dubai for a day off in one of my favourite cities, and I had a few options of flights to take. Originally, I booked a flight with low-cost carrier Fly Dubai, but this was soon cancelled by the airline. That may have been a little bit disappointing, but it turned out to be a blessing in disguise. I then spotted the chance to fly with Kuwait Airways on one of their wide-body Airbus A330 aircraft, and of course I went ahead and booked that flight. So after a day of sightseeing in Dubai, I then intended to fly back to the UK, and as I flew out with KLM, I wanted to put their partner airline Air France to the test on a long-haul trip. I booked a flight on board Air France's A330 from Dubai to Paris, and from there there'd be a quick 1-hour journey back to Birmingham, which was scheduled to be with Flybe, an airline that's very close to my heart and one that's had some troubles of late, so I was looking forward to experiencing their Embraer 175 with my old employers. That was the original plan, but as I mentioned at the start of this video, things changed on this trip, and it all started 48 hours before my first flight was due to depart. You see, I spend an unhealthy amount of time getting ideas for future reviews by watching other creators' content and also scouring websites such as Google Flights for deals, and in the days before my Middle East tour began, I spotted something that really caught my attention. The world's best airline, Qatar Airways, have been number 1 of my list of airlines to fly for as long as I can remember, but generally the price has been a little off-putting. After all, I try to look for the best value economy journeys on this channel. However, while searching for flights online, I came across what I think is an incredible fare. For just £212 I could fly with Qatar Airways from Kuwait to Doha and onwards to London to experience the A320 and the mighty A380 in economy. For some reason I wrestled with this booking, but after annoying my wife for a couple of days, I went ahead and paid the money. That meant I'd no longer be flying with Air France or Flybe, but I think I traded up. Back to the start of the trip though, and the day before departure, all packed and ready to go, I was looking at my Dreamliner booking on the KLM app when I noticed something a little upsetting. My 787-10 flight was no more, and instead the aircraft had been changed to a 777-200. Not to sound like a spoilt child, but I was a little bit disappointed. Aircraft changes though can happen at any time, it's just one of those things, and I'm sure I'll have another opportunity to fly the Dreamliner with KLM in future. So far then, that's 2 changes before even leaving the UK. The third change to my schedule was waiting to surprise me in Amsterdam. Whilst in the queue to board my 777 flight at Schiphol Airport, I received a notification from Gulf Air. My flight from Bahrain to Kuwait the following day had been cancelled. Needless to say, this caused a little bit of panic. I contacted the airline straight away and I was offered an alternative departure. Unfortunately, none of the options available would allow me to make my connection in Kuwait, so I had to make the decision to reroute and fly with Gulf Air back to Dubai, thus losing the opportunity to fly on the A330 with Kuwait Airways. The final change to my itinerary then was to find a way to get from Dubai to Kuwait on my originally scheduled rest day in order to make those really exciting journeys with Qatar Airways. I had several options for this, but believe it or not, one of the cheapest was Emirates on the 777. And with Emirates being my favourite airline, it was a no-brainer. So, here's a look at the flights that I was due to take just 2 days before departure, and here are the flights that I actually took and will be sharing on YouTube with you all soon. So that's what I've been up to for the past few days, and that's why sadly I haven't had time to get a flight review ready for this week, but hopefully you're very excited to see some of those videos, and of course, as I mentioned earlier, the first one will be out next Friday with KLM on the Boeing 737. Thank you for sticking around to the end of this video, and once again thank you to all of my subscribers for your fantastic support. Don't forget to get your questions in either in the comment section or on Facebook, Instagram or Twitter, and I'll share the Q&A video with you very soon. If you've enjoyed this video, as always, please do give it a thumbs up, hit that like button, and if you're new to the channel and want to see some of those fantastic reviews coming out very soon, do make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of them. Most of all, as always, take care.